Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right, Scott.
question.
Hold on, Ben. Scott,
Can I
go
just
ahead.
raise one other sort of forward-looking issue? Watching him on The View today and watching some of the interviews he
Thank
did
you
over
for
the...
your viewership.
Yeah, I saw it. It's rare for me, but I did watch it.
So let me catch you up. While most folks were catching their breath yesterday, Scott Jennings walked back onto the CNN set and found himself smack in the middle of a familiar circus. Trump just signed a major trade deal with the UK, one that actually helps both nations. But instead of breaking down what that means for real people, CNN gave it a blink and you'll miss it mention, and then pivoted hard into their favorite fallback, racism, sexism, anything to muddy the waters. And Scott, he saw it coming from a mile away. No outrage, no panic. Just that usual half smirk as he watched the panel twist themselves into knots trying to bury the headline. Why? Because the truth wasn't playing along. So they did what they always do when the spin flops. Switch the subject, shift the blame, pull the oldest cards in the deck. But here's the thing. When the narrative starts sinking, the real truth doesn't float to the surface. It pulls everything down with it. That's what I call a submarine truth.
Things was his unwillingness to even acknowledge that maybe some of the issues had to do with it too.
No, if you watch the entire interview, he did acknowledge it and he took responsibility. He said, look, I was in charge. So yeah, the buck stops with me. It is my responsibility. I think part of what happened between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and this entire election is that there's a lot of affection and loyalty between the two. There was a lot of gossip for 4 years that they didn't like each other, that he was undercutting her, that she was unhappy. I think she couldn't distance herself from him out of loyalty. And I think today what you heard from him was a lot of deference and affection towards his vice president, a role that he played.
But let me ask you a question, though. He said he wasn't surprised that she lost, but that he would have won the race. That's like saying, well, I was a boat anchor on my vice president, so she drowned in this election. But the anchor itself would have floated. That is crazy talk for him to say that.
He did not say that he would have won the race.
He literally said it.
He's like,
I wasn't surprised, but I would have won. The idea that he believes to this day.
Here's the thing,
one more issue.
I mean, he
When I
not
watched
only
it today-
he not only said that, but he has said it repeatedly. That he believes that he would have won.
Let's go back to what you said about racism. Can we just take a moment and talk about a white guy saying that racism's watch and win, and also the same white guy, Joe Biden, says I would have won. Like, you were one and the same person here. Like, if you're going to blame racism, it's absurd. My point is, the idea that she lost because of racism is absurd. She lost because the country was in a disastrous place, and they blamed him and his politics that she had to defend.
Can I tell you something?
And he's a white guy saying, as a white guy, he won and she didn't win.
You as a white guy have the privilege of saying that racism, and you as a white male.
I'm saying it's an incredibly
I am telling you right
ridiculous
now.
statement as a white guy to sit there and say I would have won with the same policies that she ran on.
As a woman of color, I am telling you that it is incredibly ridiculous for you, with the privilege that being a white male gives you in this country, to say that there wasn't some element of racism
I think it was
and
terrible
sexism.
policy. But I think if you guys stick with this idea, hold on. If you stick with this plan, which is every time we lose an election, racism has to be involved.
I cannot let this go on this show in front of millions of Americans who will watch this, whether or not it's on Snapchat, TikTok, or Twitter. The point still remains when we're talking about the issue of race and gender in this country, that everyone is not on equal playing fields. That the fact that, yes, we have a black woman, whether or not she is in academia, whether or not she's in business or in politics,
then are you going to run her again?
The field is not equal.
Candidate?
She's actually the best candidate for governor of the state of Georgia,
Okay,
and whatever else she wants to do.
If she's so good, and it's only an issue of what you're saying.
I said California. What I say?
Georgia.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Here's my
Scott.
question.
Hold on, Ben. Scott,
Can I
go
just
ahead.
raise one other sort of forward-looking issue? Watching him on The View today and watching some of the interviews he
Thank
did
you
over
for your viewership.
Yeah, I saw it. It's rare for me, but I did watch it.
Ana. That's what it is.
I will just say, watching him over the last few days reminded me that a whole bunch of people were telling us with a straight face that this man was capable of serving another 4 years as president. And that these appearances, coupled with what I understand is going to be the equivalent of a nuclear bomb dropped on the Democratic Party when Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book come out next week, I don't know that the Democrats have fully internalized what's about to happen to them between what he looks like today and what they're about to...
Let's just call it what it is. We're living in a moment where saying the quiet part out loud gets you labeled. And having the wrong skin color means your opinion's invalid before you even speak. If you're a white guy, you're expected to sit down, shut up, and nod along. That's the unspoken rule now, and God forbid you challenge it. Suddenly, you're the problem. But let me shift gears. The real storm is coming. And it's not a tweet, it's not a press conference. It's those books dropping next week. If they actually name names, if they expose who knew Joe Biden was mentally fading and still let him lie to the American people like everything was fine. Now, that's not just news. That's a political nuke. Full detonation. But here's the catch. If all we get is some vague concerns from staffers, you already know how this plays out. The same crowd that screamed about truth and transparency will spin it like a DJ at a campaign fundraiser. They'll twist it, soften it, bury it. Anything but face it.
Sure that Joe Biden fully realizes even his own
Decline.
deficits in this moment, Anna. I think seriously, he seems to not. He was asked about it directly, and he doesn't seem to get it at all, which is part of the problem.
Well, look, Abby, I don't know many elected officials in any party who willingly walk away from their elected office, right? I think it's hard for everybody. Look, I think this was very hard for Joe Biden. I think he took responsibility for that. He did not say what you just said, Scott, that he said. You just said that
what did he not say?
You said that he told Kamala Harris that she could not have any distance
False.
from him.
It's been reported. He told
It doesn't
her
matter
point
what he
blank.
was.
He told her point blank, no daylight, kid, no daylight.
Because reporting can never be wrong.
Are you attacking the journalism around it?
You think reporting can never be wrong?
If you want to be
you come in
anti-journalism,
and you come on here and you attack reporting every night.
I do not.
We actually asked him the
there's
question
critical
directly.
reporting about this guy,
Okay.
and he told her point
Well,
blank,
we asked
no
him.
daylight.
We asked him directly today.
All right.
Did you tell her
You think he's
that?
ever told a lie?
I don't think he
He
tells
tells
many
lies.
lies.
Cognitive decline, I can tell you that much.
I don't think he tells many lies. I don't think he's done.
Come on.
Wait. No, you know why you don't get to laugh like that? Because you support a guy who lies every freaking day and lies continuously. You support a guy who cannot acknowledge that he lost the 2020 election and that lies about it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's in Jake.
Thank you.
Because, of course, reporting can never be wrong, right? Funny how that works. Coming from the same woman who spent an entire election cycle parroting every lazy headline the Democrats floated. Trump admires Hitler. Trump hates our troops. Trump this, Trump that. No sources, just vibes. Fifth-hand quotes wrapped in clickbait. That was the whole strategy. Character assassination by anonymous attribution. But now that the spotlight's turning the other way, now you're suddenly questioning journalism? Sure, Anna, now you care about facts. And then, just when you think the comedy's over, she drops the line of the night. Joe Biden doesn't lie very much. The laugh that came out of Scott and Ben wasn't staged. That was real. That was disbelief breaking the surface. And what does she follow it up with? You guessed it, but Trump. Right on cue. It's like they've got it on a soundboard. Now I'll be straight with you. In his later years in office, I don't even think Biden could lie. Not intentionally. I think the man was so far gone his staff just fed him the lines and pointed where to stand. That's not leadership, that's theater. And honestly, it's elder abuse, dressed in red, white, and blue. Oh, and let's not pretend there was ever some warm bond between Joe and Kamala. They couldn't stand each other. Still don't. And Jill? Yeah, don't get me started. But that's just my take. What did you think about this panel and their race-baiting gaslighting routine? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more of Scott Jennings quietly turning CNN into a funeral home for failed narratives, hit up the next video on your screen. As always, NKS for sticking around.